What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about a man I'm sure most of you already know. He's always preaching hustle. He's preaching happiness and overall fulfillment in life. Who I'm referring to is Gary Vaynerchuk, aka Garyvee, the CEO and founder of VaynerMedia. Today we will be talking about Gary Vaynerchuk's music marketing tips. Alright, so tip number one, produce a higher volume of music. Gary's always pushing content. He's like, you gotta push out more stuff, get the bad stuff out, the good stuff will stick. Nobody remembers the bad stuff, only the good stuff. So push as much stuff as you can out as soon as possible. Number two, promote your music through vloggers and influencers. Reach out to people, be like, how much would you charge me to put this song on your page, or etc., that kind of stuff. Number three, do more collaborations outside of your genre. So work with other people, even if you guys don't make the same type of music. This will cross-promote you guys to each other's fans, and it will help grow each other. Number four, interact with your audience in a genuine way. Every single day, Gary preaches about replying to comments. If you have people commenting on your social media posts, but you're not taking the time to acknowledge them, that will eventually push them away. You don't gotta reply to all of them, but reply to most of them. Make some time every single day to go and reply to your comments. Your fans will really appreciate it, and it will help you guys grow tremendously.
All right, Gary.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man.
How's it going?
How you doing? Bino.
Bino, Gary.
Good to meet you.
What up, man?
How you doing, man?
Alright.
It's just vibing, just basically catching up doing what we're doing. So just be ourselves.
Gary. Real good, man. Real good.
This
Thanks
is
for the
Selfie.
hospitality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice to meet
Selfie?
you, Sophie.
Gary. Nice to meet you, sir.
It's my engineer, Jay.
Jay. Gary. Pleasure.
Producer, Foley.
Oh, what's up, man? Gary. Real pleasure.
Producer, Tiggy.
Tiggy. What up, my man? How are you, Gary?
So I hope the weed smells like creative while we get the marketing ready and all that. I don't want to stop being in the music vibe. I just want to keep recording up until the release date,
Stay in that zone.
Yeah, just...
I love that.
I fell out before, like, I got off music and started getting on, like, videos, marketing, and thinking about selling the shit. And
Yeah.
it's, like, painful getting back in the music mode, So
What you started with when I first walked in here about, I got caught up in the marketing and all this, but the music stuff, do you just love, like, Boyd's just like, wait till you two meet.
Right.
Does it just come natural to you, just love it?
What, the marketing?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, I never looked at it as marketing until after the fact. I looked at it as like
Hustling and getting it done.
or just context for the release, right?
Okay.
Like, all right, I look at like albums from like Jay-Z, right, or T.I., or any big successful artist. Some of their albums was really successful. Some of them was just like.
Not really.
And so the difference between the ones that were and the ones that weren't was the narrative. Like the I'm about to go to jail album from T.I. Or the I just got this big movie, ATL, and I'm calling my album King, and the song is in this. It was attached to a narrative.
Trading culture.
That's it.
Yep.
If it penetrates, you did it. If it don't, you
100%.
didn't.
That's basically all I think about.
I can't.
Attention arbitrage, hack culture.
Yeah. Other than that, everything else can be manipulated. All that shit can be influenced.
That's right.
If you go outside and you hear the music, you come to the concert, everybody singing the words.
Then you're good.
It connected. That shit penetrated to me. But then also, he did his shit through Tidal, through Sprint. Again, they did it as like a unique release just to.
They vig the numbers that way.
Yeah. And I'm sure he got a nice check. I don't know what this deal
Well,
was.
to your point, like, there's no way he sold all his shares to Sprint unless he was trading on fame and culture.
Right.
So Sprint's a client of the company that Mike works for me, like VaynerMedia.
Right.
Like, I know the CEO super well.
Right.
Like, he's trading, like, fame is the ultimate arbitrage in our society.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
It's the ultimate arbitrage.
And like relevance and like conversation and
100%.
inclusion, you know what I mean? To be included in something that is gonna be consumed on that level. And it's gonna be respected on that level. It's not gonna be like experienced as disposable. It's gonna be damn near consumed as art. And to be affiliated with that, you know what I'm saying?
And then understanding how to distribute it in the modern way. It's always gonna change.
I agree.
Like when I think about Instagram and things of that nature, it's really no different than TRL.
Right. Right.
Right? Like that, I mean, that's what Puff, I still don't, even, I was watching his documentary the other day, I was hoping they'd bring it up, they didn't. He hacked MTV and night, he would just show up on set.
And pull up.
Pull up.
I'm
Be like
pumping.
Carson. That's right.
Yeah.
Because he was smart. He knew every single teenager's eyes were on that at 4 p.m. Everybody, right?
Real shit.
People don't understand. Everybody in hip hop who understands how to penetrate underpriced attention wins.
Absolutely.
Right? So for me, right now, like, so if you're taking notes, the number one thing, YouTube vlogs, you get the right hook or your project. You remember Madden, when Good Charlotte was on Madden, when you're like making your team in the beginning? Right? And it literally, that made them famous.
Right.
That's how I think about vlogs on YouTube. I think getting one of these 16 tracks on the right vlog that gets 3, 4, 5, KC, Jake and Logan Paul, you get the right, like in a scene, that in itself is so much fucking underpriced attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so like that's how I think about shit. Like you could be,
on a similar, not to cut you off.
no please.
50's kind of doing that with power.
He's just, you know what's crazy about The Rock is like everybody, like I'm even looking at everybody's face, like this crew, Upper East Side, 58-year-old white guy, everybody just smiles.
Yeah.
And that's fucking dope, you know? Like that's just like,
I mean,
people fuck with it. He's hungry.
What happened though? How did he start going crazy? I just
You know what?
seeing
I was
The Rock.
talking to him. It's kind of, it's honestly, it's the same shit I feel. I'm sure you feel it too. Like, sometimes you just know, and it's just a fucking, when people ask me about shit, all I do is ever point to my wrist.
Right.
Just a matter of time.
Right, period.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah,
Right?
That's real.
That's right. You know it's in there somewhere. Like to me, like I really popped on Twitter. I was one of the first people in the world to have 1 million followers on Twitter.
Right.
Then I got busy, did my thing, and like when Instagram and all that, like then I was quiet for a little bit. YouTube, you know? And then it was like just a matter of time. And then I got hot again. You know, like if you're good enough,
Right.
shit's gonna work out. And that's how and that's what The Rock, like if you asked me, it was the first time we really chopped it up.
Bottom line.
It was just like when he was like tried to play football, when he went to wrestling, like even when he was at wrestling, when he was the fucking Rock, he still knew there was more.
Right, no question.
That today's world, there's no more old white guy being the gatekeeper, so everybody's got an at bat.
I agree.
I just don't think everybody's got it like that. But I think everybody can maximize their shit. So like not everybody's destined. No, listen, I love playing basketball. I'm not fucking LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, so we've all got our talents, but you know what you guys do for a living. Like, I mean, I'm looking at music and I'm spending a lot of time looking at it. Fucking SoundCloud, Spotify, putting music on vlogs. Like, no more Jimmy Iovine fucking trips over you. No more fucking, like, you're fucking one song away on like putting out shit, like, and you don't even need rap caviar. You just need to put out music. And I think the one variable, the shit that I fucking trade on is trade culture. If you're hungry and like trying to think about your career, like you're it's so hungry right now where you're at, young and like, right? And what's going through your mind, same shit that went through my mind 30 times. You saying to yourself in your mind, this project, especially with this man, this project, oh, this is what it's gonna be. This is when it's gonna happen. And guess what? It might not. I just did Apple's first show, right? will.i.am, Jessica Alba, Gwyneth Paltrow, and me. Shark Tank for apps, right? And me and my team, D-Rock will tell you, I'm like, this is gonna be it. They're gonna spend 20 million, I'm gonna be on every billboard, it's gonna fucking pop, it's gonna be the next Netflix. They won't call it Apple Music, they'll change it up before it comes out. They'll buy Netflix, it'll be big, did it? Nope, they put out on Apple Music. Nobody here's fucking watching TV shows on Apple Music yet, it's not how we think. Yes, because all I would do is make music and then lay in bed for 11 hours, try to hack on social media, get in my shit, recognize, notice. You're one person away, one piece of content away. You just gotta fucking make it. And what's amazing about music, and I think everybody, I don't like speaking about shit I don't know, so I don't wanna speak to it, but one thing I do know is, I believe that every artist that ever lived had a lot more songs in their fucking dome than ever saw the day of life because of the way it worked, right? Now, everybody's fancy, everybody's trying to understand supply and demand. I don't think people understand how busy the world is. The world's so busy, there's so much shit, that I'm a big fan of telling people to put out music, like fucking every week. Like if you've got it like that, you know, some people don't have it, I don't know. But if you've got it like that, put it out. People are hungry for it. A studio to fucking the world, it's just so crazy. I think there will be a big time artist in the next decade that puts out a song a day.
I agree with that. We did a campaign last year called Marathon Monday. We got the song.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I saw the reaction to that, more so than dropping an album. I'm like,
100.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, somebody's gonna wake up and do something called 365,
Yeah.
and they're gonna start on fucking January 1st, and they're gonna fucking go.
Who did a verse of that?
Especially if you're talented, you know, somebody shitty puts out 300, you put out 364 whack shit, you know, you put out 39 fucking bangers, you know, another 100 like fucking solid shit, like you can have a throwaway here and there. The reason I love 365 is you can social commentate. Like what people love is relevance, right? Like, I don't know, do you write or do you just go from the dome?
I do both.
Right, so for me, like just culture, right? Like game 7 of the NBA finals, like you slip a little, like nobody can beat you to the market. You're just dropping shit that everybody gives a fuck about. Something pops on fucking Instagram and everyone's talking about, just one little line, that's what hooks people.
Right.
That's what hooks it, you know?
Current.
And the best part is you just have to have humility. If there was 6 people there, I'd be like, I lost. And that's just when you get to that place where you just don't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks. That's how you put out 365 music, right? Right? Because that's Sunday, February 9th, you put out something okay, and people are like, whack, whack, you should have done this project. And that's when you get punched in the fucking mouth, and are you gonna fucking drink that blood and just record the next day and fucking get them?
Right.
Or are you gonna fold like a cheap chair and be like, fuck me?
Right.
So you have to have the right DNA to go for those kind of projects.
Back in the day, that probably would be against their model, but it's streaming.
Of course it was against the model. You had to make 12, you gotta print the fucking CDs, you gotta get it to fucking Walmart, Sam Goody, like it just didn't, it wasn't real.
Right.
Now, you know, it's just so different. Nobody's got control. It's you and the fucking kids that got it in their ear.
I think the biggest thing, the biggest restriction is everybody thinking in the old mentality.
100%. Because there's a lot of money in the old mentality.
Right.
And like, you know, people are sad.
People got rich in the old mentality.
Are you kidding? Will, I was with Will, and he's just like, he said, music, and he was like, he was basically complaining about streaming. I was like, yo, I'm like, it's just not 1984 anymore, man. Like, sorry that you can't put out Thriller and buy a fucking amusement park, you know? like
I don't understand why people complain about streaming. I get more off streaming than I do off sales. I'm sure everybody do. Money wise.
I think truth is, I don't know. I'm sure the tippy top of the sphere might have gotten, I don't know.
I think that the label, I think that what they complaining about is the label contract.
That's got them locked
artists.
up,
Yeah,
100%.
They don't have an agreement.
Direct, yeah.
Because this is a new platform.
How did your whole thing go down? When did you first like hit the scene, and then how about this? I mean, you were talking about him in 2009.
That's about when.
Yeah,
like,
right. I remember it was 09 because we just started Vayner,
Yeah.
and I just remember your name. Hustle's my favorite word on earth. So I was like, whoever that is, I like him.
It's crazy. Other heavyweights, I forgot the name.
Ariana Grande.
Right.
Grande,
There's
yeah.
a lot of shit over there going viral.
But I mean, basically, like, why I'm so excited you guys are meeting is, I don't think there's anyone in hip hop who could really change things like Nipsey can. And the other thing about it is, I've seen you speak a couple times, and then I've spoken to a few people in the tech world who like set up these speaking engagements or these conferences, or you know, Gary speaks all the time. When I saw him speak, it was like, I've heard a lot of people say the same type of stuff. I've never understood it until I heard him say it. And so it's like, because of your firsthand experience, and then because of your view, like your point of view, and just the way you are able to communicate to people and just have people understand things. And then like the stuff you're doing with the clothing, and then I watched the video when you went into Starbucks and you met the guy. Now he's like your CTO, and like how many rappers have a CTO, right? But when he walked in Starbucks,
Idris.
Yeah, Idris was the guy right.
What, just having a coffee and just sitting there?
No, he was doing his work on the computer, but he's doing like this AR stuff to like help, like when the cars are driving themselves. Like, he's a genius, like
Basically,
literally a genius.
What he's explaining, he had some technology on a Starbucks table, and I had my daughter. I was just taking her to the bathroom, and it was like some shit I hadn't seen before. It was like reading the bone structure of his hand off of a LCD piece of hardware.
So you just caught this in the corner of your eye?
Well, I just walked past and seen it, and I know enough about tech to know that that's not no shit that's out. So I just was like, bro, what is that? And then, you know,
Got to talking.
Yeah, we started chopping. He a young dude, you know what I'm saying? And he started explaining that it was autonomous driving. He was designing for Uber. And, you know, he started telling me his story, how he was like President Obama's STEM specialist for the youth, and how, you know, he was offered a scholarship to MIT and turned it down, and has all these projects he's working on. He's 18.
I love that.
And he come from the
Boy.
hood. And I'm like, yeah, we gotta sit down, bro. So we sat down. And
Where was it start? Right here, the Starbucks I just stopped by, or somewhere else?
we was in LA. We was on Figueroa.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead, Idris. I mean, basically by us sitting down after that meeting,
Yeah.
you know, he basically opened my mind up to how we can, where we intersect as far as tech and as far as hip hop and culture and just like
Tech is the oxygen of our society.
right.
I don't think people understand. Like, I'm sure you're gonna understand this. Everybody in this room, looking around, everyone's quite young. We're all gonna live in a mixed reality world. Contact lenses, where we're sitting here right now, fucking Pac in VR, and is sitting right here with us. Like,
Right.
people don't understand. Like, people think this is, like, people have no clue. They think shit's crazy now. We haven't even started. This is the fucking national anthem of a 19-inning game.
Right.
Like, people haven't even wrapped their head around how fucked up shit is gonna be.
Right.
So the reason nobody wanted to put out so much music before, overexposure. That shit doesn't exist. There's nobody overexposed because everybody's getting pulled in so many directions.
So, like, you think the people just evolved to take in more info?
That's for damn sure.
Right.
But even at scale, I think that you can't be overexposed as an artist if you're capable of putting out a song every day.
Right.
And that's where everyone's fucked up. Right? You know how it used to be, right? You come out, you do your thing, then you fucking disappear. Got to keep that balance right.
The mistake and all
Right?
that.
I think that shit's so competitive. There's so much great content. There's so much shit going on that if you've got it like that,
You gotta go.
you gotta go.
But you know, that's interesting because if you look at
They're like a real come up. You know what I mean? This is 11 projects dropped and then 98 songs on SoundCloud dropped. And then the debut album. So it was like really, really long process to kind of get to the starting line.
Yes.
So, you know, it feels long overdue, but it feels like a blessing because, you know, it feels like it's the platform I always wanted to start fucking shit up.
Yes, the music world.
Yeah.
Specifically hip hop.
Absolutely.
Cool to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Meant you were a fucking loser. Means that you weren't good enough to go into a good college.
Yeah.
And I watched a lot of people, because I was always purebred and in it, conform into the school system, even though I know they got a bigger high of selling stuff or try to build something, but they just and it's just an interesting parallel.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, you know, I'm not ashamed of any of that because it was all necessary for the growth and part of the process. But, yeah, I mean,
I get it.
It was like, you know, if you look at pictures from me in high school, you're going to be like, yeah, the fuck? Like, wearing like a polo shirt and like, you know, whatever. I never did the Sperry shit because that was just ridiculous. But, but, you know, I was doing that, like I said, because I was the new kid and I was just trying to, like, you know, social survival.
What about, why do you think I like your music so much? Now that you've gotten to know me a little bit, I
think the message 100%, which is just like, fuck it, do it. You know what I'm saying?
Of course I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I also for me, just like the chip on the shoulder thing.
Yeah.
Like anytime you're like the Kurt Warner line, you know, like your grandfather rolling in his grave, like the stuff that you talk about is like that's what I would, you know, I just, it connects with me. Do you get concerned or how do you think about what you're going through now, right?
Yeah.
Like when Andy kind of first brought you up 2 years ago, you were coming up, you were clearly at a different level and well on your way to the next level. Do you worry that a lot of your engine is the chip, is the fuck it, I'm gonna do it myself, I did it myself, fuck you, you passed on me. Do you worry that that this making it now and the next version of you making it takes some of that away and can change shit?
No, because it's not being driven by an external force. It's more so being driven by, I have to prove it to myself.
Yeah.
I need to get a Grammy, not to prove to y'all that I can get a Grammy. I need to prove to myself that I can get a Grammy.
And as a young guy, you're about to turn 25.
Yeah.
Do you think about the world changing, like where's a Grammy 15 years ago? Or I think about this a lot. Like, so I talk about, I'm going to buy the New York Jets.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I'm like, man, fuck that. I'm going to buy 4 esports teams, and that's going to be the NFL in 20 years.
Yeah.
Do you, like, think about things like a Grammy that way? I've been curious to ask artists about, like, certain,
like,
right?
is the value still there?
Yeah, like, I get it when you were 12, I'm going to win a Grammy, and then you wake up and you're 25, and you're like, is the Grammy the same shit than it was when I was 12? Do you think about that stuff?
Sometimes, but then you still want to, like, kind of fulfill that childhood fantasy, you know?
Any of it for your parents kind of stuff? Like, I do that stuff for my parents sometimes. Like, I want to be on magazine covers, kind of weirdly more, because I know my mom is smiling cheek to cheek.
Yeah. Some shit, but a lot of it, bro, is just intrinsic motivation of just like, yo, I gotta do this shit to prove to myself. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, I didn't lose steam when shit got popping. That's why I still kind of have the same mentalities, because this isn't even like, even as much as has been accomplished, this is not even like,
You haven't even started.
Yeah, I'm just like,
You know, it's funny, you saying that, and I did a podcast yesterday, Paul, this podcast, and we basically talked about competitiveness the whole time. And it was funny because I was doing his podcast talking only about, he's like asking me like why I'm so, we're deep into my competitiveness. Now sitting here with you, thinking about the dinner the other night, like that was my favorite part. I'm like, he's just competitive.
Yeah, super competitive.
You know, like I don't know, like, did you cry when you lost at basketball when you were like 8 or 9?
Probably, yeah.
I used to cry all the time, anytime I lost at anything. Nobody even wanted to play with me because either I won or if I lost, I cried so much it was just awkward.
Well, and the thing with me, like,
let's get our Facebook. Put in your phone numbers. We're gonna take the first call in a minute.
I would always play, you know, basketball against my brother, and like, I was so competitive. He wasn't that competitive, and my mom would like, you know, be sanctioning this shit, and she's like, chill out, it's not that serious. You don't have to be so competitive. But it's like, I don't care if it's just like a game. If we're just playing fucking horseshoes in the backyard, I have to win the fucking game.
Yeah, to me, the worst people on earth are the people who want you to chill out when you're competing.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that shit so much. Like, it's not that serious. For you, fuckface. For me, this is fucking life. This ping pong match is my fucking life right now.
I know, it's literally
that's where I'm at with that. All right, who we got first, Sandy? John from where?
Minnesota.
All right, we're going to get to John in Minnesota.
Cool.
We'll see what he has to say about entrepreneurship or music. We'll see what he's up with. And it's like, you know what I mean, though? Like, if that ping pong match, I'm like, fucking, I want to win this more than, like, fucking anything.
Literally, it's like the fucking world championship at all times.
John, don't miss your moment.
Oh.
John, this is Gary Vaynerchuk, and you're in the Ask Garyvee show with Russ.
No shit.
Yes, sir.
No way.
Yes, sir.
What is up?
Life is good. What's your question, my man?
All right, so this is for both of you guys. So what's the number one thing you wish you knew when you're starting out? So I'm 18, and what is the biggest lesson you learned when you got on the new level?
Cool. Russ?
What's the biggest lesson I learned? To follow your gut. To always just follow your gut. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit is going to distract you.
There's opinions that you may look up to when you first go into it, but you realize they don't know shit.
Absolutely. Follow your intuition. You know what I'm saying? Listen to your gut. It's never wrong, and it knows what the fuck you want before you do.
For me to answer the first part of your question, the one thing I wish I knew when I was starting out is the thing that I preach to you guys all the time. And even though I believed it religiously at the time, even though I was 100 on it, I would have been 110 on it, which is patience.
Facts.
When you're when you're hungry,
Mm-hmm.
when you're 18, when you want to be the biggest in the world, like, it's patience. I'm 41, right? About to turn 42 in November. So it's not as, you know, I don't know if you play this game. John, is it? John, I don't know if you play this game. When I was 18, John, this is what I would play. I'm like, okay, I'm 18. And in 18 years, I'm going to be 36. That's young as shit. I have my whole life in front of me. Everything I just lived, I have all that time in front of me, and I'm still going to be 36. And I would do that literally. Even at 30, I remember doing, I'm like, fuck, I've done a lot already. Wine library was already big and everything. I kind of made it a little bit. I was like, and I've got my whole life. And I'm going to be 60, which is old, but not fucking dead yet. But now I'm 41, and I'm like, okay, I've lived this whole life. Okay, in 41, I'm going to be 82. I'm like, 82's a little and so for me, even with the game that I've played my whole life about doubling up my number to make me realize how much time I still had, so fucking be patient, do the right thing. Shortcuts kill you, like, do it right. Even now, even though that doesn't sound as good, I still do it. The fact that you're 18, John, which means you're double your age, you're still 5 years younger than me, that's fucking insane. And the thing is, you are so quick to be put on, to showboat, to win for yourself, for the world. Whatever it may look like, it usually leads to the move that keeps you away from winning.
Awesome.
The shortcuts.
I just want to say thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. In your patience world, right?
That's something that I learned heavy because I used to get fucking beat myself up. You know, like, why the fuck isn't this happening? Why isn't this happening? But then you realize when whatever that thing that you were like frustrated that wasn't happening, when that thing does happen, you're like, oh,
right.
I'm so glad it finally happened now and not back then.
Which song did you put out before it happened, or in the earliest days? was the most that you and your crew were like, this fucking Friday, this is gonna be it. This is good. Which, I mean, you probably did that every week, knowing you, because I do it literally every time I go on stage. I'm like, I'm gonna say something in this keynote that's gonna be watched 800 million times on Facebook. I literally say it. Shit never happened, but I feel it every time. I feel it every time. But what I do, you know, it's funny because I'm asking myself that. There is a keynote or two ago, not too long ago. I'm trying to think somewhere something. But do you have one song that you were like just more than the others, and it didn't happen?
No, every song I literally thought was going to be the biggest song in the entire world.
Yeah, I totally get it, man. It makes so much sense to me.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you. So I know how I view hip hop. I've said a bunch. Hip hop rules the world. It's the cultural seed. We're going to answer this question, but I'm going to ask you how you think about entrepreneurship from your perspective this way versus my way. You know what I mean?
Ashley in Albany.
Ashley? All right, Ashley's about to get real excited. Ashley, don't miss your shot. Ashley.
Hello.
Ashley, this is Garyvee. You're on the Ask Garyvee show with Russ.
Hi, Russ. How are you? Hi, Gary.
I'm amazing.
Hi, Ash.
How are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
What's your question?
This is awesome.
Ash, real quick, your phone chopped up a little bit. Can you get into a better spot?
Sure. Hold on.
You got it. She's so
Can you hear me?
Of course, she was so Ashley, by the way, your composure is incredible.
Astounding.
What's your question?
So I am a talent buyer from Albany, New York. And I guess my question for you, Russ, is what has been your best experience with the music industry as far as like a concert promoter? And what made that promoter stand out for you? And what can I take from that to make my concert a great experience?
I always liked the promoters who were super tangible and really like they were personal with you, and they really felt like they cared and they were hands on. If there was an issue, they weren't kind of just like, oh, fuck off, good luck. You know what I mean? It was like they really gave a shit. Everything was run smooth. It was professional. But it's always been the people that I actually meet. You know what I'm saying? A lot of promoters, they don't even they'll maybe shake your hand once at the end of the night and say thank you, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? But there was a promoter in Albuquerque, I think, that super epic. He was just really hands on with everything, and really I could tell he cared. So you just got to show him that you care.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
Ashley?
Yes.
Ash, there was my favorite book I ever wrote was called Thank You Economy, and in there, you like that, Russ? In there, I talked about something that nobody ever tweets or talks about, and I still think it's my number one move, and I think you can leave with it. Everybody's super nice and accommodating and caring before the show. Like, what if you booked Russ and then 5 months later just sent him his favorite candy or flowers or a note and says, I was just thinking back to when you performed up here in Albany. I really appreciate you giving our region a shot. Right. We loved you. Like, everybody does everything up front. Everybody's giving flowers and jewelry. It's post-game. It's when you've been married for 13 years. It's after the fact. Nobody is surprised and delighting and delivering when it's after it happened. But what happens is when Russ is at a festival hanging with 7, 12 other artists that are on the come up doing their thing, and they're just kind of shooting the shit, and randomly he drops how you did something like that. We're just taught, how things come up. Then all of a sudden everybody's paying attention. When you do something with no expectation in return, with no obvious short-term ROI, there's always far greater impact. It's one thing if you get your girl flowers on Valentine's Day. It's a whole different thing if you get her flowers on June 19th.
Facts.
Right. Yeah, awesome.
You got
Thanks,
it?
guys.
Entrepreneurship was kind of ingrained in me because, Pop, my grandfather, passed away. He had his own business. My dad tried to start his own business, and I was just kind of raised with that,
that's the way you did
boss mentality shit. And then even my friends, me and Bugis, we started Diamond, which is the company that's gonna, it's turning into what it's turning into. So,
what is it turning into? From your perspective
whole bunch
right
of
now?
Shit.
Just it's the holding company
really,
of all things that you're going to do in the future?
I think at some point it's just literally it's a brand that a whole bunch of shit can exist underneath. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it can be a fucking store where you sell merch at. It can be a fucking this or that, whatever it is. But
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? But
an infrastructure, a framework.
Absolutely.
Who's this? Persia?
Yeah, what up, bro?
This is Garyvee on the Ask Garyvee show with Russ.
Yeah, that's crazy as fuck.
That was low key excitement. Well, you're on, my man. You're on, my man. Go ahead.
It actually is low key excitement.
I can see it. I sense it. What's up?
Yeah, so, well, first off, I wanted to say thank you to you, Gary, because you used one of my songs in one of the Daily B's. Actually, shout out to D-Rock. That was dope.
Good job, D-Rock.
But my question is for Russ. So I'm an artist, too. We have a lot in common. I'm Sicilian, too. We're part Sicilian.
Dope.
And I've been getting curved by blogs, so fuck them. But but no, I'm dropping songs like every week and stuff like that. And, just trying to get content out. But I was wondering, like, so when you were dropping songs, I'm talking about like in the beginning, not like after you already picked up momentum. Was there anything like marketing wise that you did to try and implement, like to try and bring attention to your songs or anything like that? Like,
there was.
Like marketing.
I used to take like selfie videos of me in the basement studio singing along to the song that I just dropped, and for whatever reason they would just go crazy on Twitter, and I would do it like
and
every
how many
fucking
Twitter?
week.
And I know what he's asking here. How many at that point Twitter followers did you have just to make it contextual?
Fucking 7,000, 8,000.
And where are you at right now, Percy?
I'm at 10,600.
Oh yeah, I mean
So
10,000. I remember when I hit 10,000, I was like, yo. We ain't gonna be broke no more.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, look, I think what's interesting about what Russ just said, and we were with that backpack kid yesterday, right? That little 15-year-old that's in the Katy Perry, all that dancer from Atlanta too. Like, nonetheless, both of you just said the same answer, which is I have done a lot of things in my career content-wise that was more methodical about understanding the platforms and the context and the things of that nature in the new iteration of myself. But my rise in 2006, 7, 8 with Wine Library TV, no growth hacking, no smart anything, just the content. Right. It wasn't like you got people to get it shouted out, or you figured out the algorithm, or you figured out how to be the top of a MySpace page like we did, Boyd, when we used to do yourgrills.com, Paul Wall, shout out. A lot of people just win on the content. A lot of people think that you can't win when you've got 3,000, when you've got 200. This kid had 300 followers on Instagram when he put that dance video up. 300. So the content works. The problem is, for so many watching right now, you make the same exact kind of content when the market has told you it doesn't work. You've got to mix it up, right? Like, for example, like we need to make a black and white episode of Garyvee. We need to make a silent film version of Garyvee. We talk about it, but we haven't fucking done it. So, like, even me at the game that I'm playing at, am not experimenting enough, in my opinion. Everybody out there needs to experiment. Yeah. You just one time did it, singing to your own song, and that became the thing that you answered this man's question with. Right.
And, you got to keep in mind, bro, is that, especially with music, people love to see, like, almost the insight to the person who really did the song. So when they see you singing your own shit, what I think why it resonated is because it's like, oh, shit, like, he really did make that song. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of...
People want to see behind the cloak, right? Yeah. People want to see the other side.
Exactly.
About that.
Understand that the far majority of people that have a viral hit, that they are a one-hit wonder and it's over? That everybody else, that Russ and I's narrative is far, far, far more the common, which is one day at a time, 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 and then 40 fucking years later, you look back and be like, oh shit, we made it. It wasn't the 10,000 followers on Twitter.
Facts.
Right.
Got it?
Yeah.
When you think about what's going on in music and content and culture right now, this is a left field question. We didn't talk about this the other night. I haven't brought. What's interesting outside of like music? Like what about a product or a TV show or like a clothes? Like what's like kind of popping for you? What's
really dope? What's happening is Netflix is taking over because no one is trying to watch commercials anymore. Commercials are dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can literally, like, watch Netflix without the shit. And Netflix kind of has, like, the same motto almost that I have, which is throw it all up at once, binge the whole shit, and people will become a psycho fan instantly. It took one season of Orange is the New Black for people to be like, oh, my God, I'm a huge fan. Same shit with Narcos, because once it came out, it wasn't.
Do you mainly only consume Netflix?
For the most part, yeah. Because you got to think about it, right? When you watch Narcos or when they release the whole season, you get to watch the entire shit. There's no more of this, you got to wait till next week for it to drop, next week for it to drop. Which some of that shit still works, like Scandal and shit like that. But Netflix, I feel like, is taking over because you get it all at once. You digest the entire shit. You instantly become so attached to it. And then, like, you're just waiting for the whole next season. But you're more excited because you know that when it comes out, you're getting the entire season. So I think they're killing it.
And do you think that there's a white space for, you know, how people, you know, listen, obviously you're a pioneer in dropping the song a week kind of thing. Do you think there's an opportunity for people to drop an album a week if they can put out that volume?
Yeah, 100%. Future just like pretty much did that for 3 weeks. Yeah, crushed.
I think Boyd brought it, but like the number one thing I would do of where you're at right now is do collaboration songs with people outside your demo.
Okay, dope.
Like tomorrow, I would do a collab song with a country star. Tomorrow, I would get a Latin trap. Tomorrow, I would get a Latin trap person to sing the hook of a song here. Tomorrow. Now, there's one big little asterisk. You've got to fuck with it. Like, you got to believe in it. Got it? Like, if you're like, this is whack, I'm just doing it. Correct. But if you're like, you know what I would do? I would fucking make you, if I was them, if I was part of the team, I'd make you listen to so much random shit, because then you'd be like, yo, this fucking African shit is rad as fuck. I'd be like, cool, African shit. Come back and be like, yo, you gotta do this with this person from fucking Ghana. You see where I'm going? I think people grossly underestimate the collaboration I don't think people understand how much Taylor Swift's song with Kendrick Lamar mattered to Kendrick Lamar's career.
Oh,
but I don't think people really, I think people think it would have happened anyway, and I don't.
Right.
And you know what's crazy about hip hop? Hip hop itself, the whole fucking genre, took the next step because of the Aerosmith Run DMC collab.
Oh, yeah.
The whole genre was not built because it was authentically amazing, but there's nobody who's old like me, like especially people in the game, ask them. It changed everything. I think it's what I would do, especially this early in your career, if it's authentic, I would do songs with other people that give you the upside of the awareness where it's a trade of fan base. So I think you're ridiculously talented. So I think that somebody who's like a huge pop star who's fading, or a mid-sized country star who's stuck, they'll get the benefit of something that's amazing talent. You'll get the benefit of like they have a much bigger audience. It's just a fair trade. I'd make a fair trade. And I would probably not put it in a project, like I'd probably just do it as one-offs. Like I think a great way to like build your music career right now is you do mixtapes or like projects that are just like creative and like kind of strategic. You do albums for albums, and then you do one-off songs that are collaborations that are strategic and fun and different and are little curveballs to the audience. Like you doing a song with Backstreet Boys is exactly right to me. I'm being serious. You know what I mean? Something that's like fucking like so off kilter to the mission. I think musicians have unbelievable permission to do shit if it's the truth.
It's real.
100%.
It's real.
Yeah, you can't negate authentic.
Great one. If you were like, oh my God, I love Nelly Furtado because when you were a kid, that song with Timbaland was so poppin' and you loved it so much. She's not killing the world right now, but she's a real talent.
Yeah.
Like just DMing her and be like, yo, you know, what?
We tried.
With her?
Yeah.
With her?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I get it, like that.
And you know what else? There's people I replied to today that have DM'd me 46 times and today was the day.
Yeah.
So trying comes in all shapes and forms too. Or comment on social, like strike hard. Like there's always like a moment, right? Like let's say like it's whoever, right? Bless you. Bless you. LL Cool J, right? Like if he likes a photo, like you guys are like one of the things that the thing I always regret is not striking when it's hot because I'm so busy right now. Like I'm 18 months into like Metro Booming and Kevin Hart fucking with me on Instagram, but Kevin Hart liked it today.
I saw that.
And I still haven't really like sat down and break bread. With The Rock, I fucking figured it out, got it done, but like, and like sometimes you just like 6 years later and you still haven't connected. Kelly Rowland, you know, still. Oh, I don't reach out to anybody, even though I give that advice. Like now I'm at like a place where, cause I'm doing a little bit different. Like if I was doing music, I would. And if I was like, if I was making content, not documenting content, I would. But man, I'm telling you right now, the second you see somebody, a producer or an artist that you fuck with, like or engage on Twitter, you like get on a fucking plane and be like in fucking, you know, like Masterpiece Studio in fucking Louisiana.
Thank you.
Got it?
Take that note.
Because it's right now it's the time to grind. Right now is the time to be like not fancy about nothing. Be like, holy shit, like we love Big Crit. He just like this DM, you hit up Boyd or whoever the fuck you know, your label, I don't give a fuck. You're on the phone with Crit and you're like, yo, we should do something. And this is what everybody does. Yo, we should do something. Yeah. And then 9 months later, nothing happens. When you're like, we should do something, and he's like, yeah, get the fuck on a fucking cheap red eye, $88 and be fucking go. Like if somebody cool and fucking big gives you love, strike. You know, the biggest thing that I've been playing with like Nikon, Crit, like a lot of the people I've been sitting down, I'm like, look, you're an artist. I'm not gonna tell you what to fucking do. I'm even like scared to do it, but I'd be lying if I didn't say like, if you've got music in you, all of it should come out. Do you know how many fucking songs we would have from fucking Michael Jackson and Biggie and Prince and fucking the Four Tops if they had the technology we had today? Can you imagine?
What do you think about dropping 2 albums at once for an artist that's at my level?
Yep.
You don't think that it? So you don't think?
I'm gonna tell you something controversial. I don't think there's enough music. You got to give yourself every chance to do it. Do you know how many people could have been the biggest artists in the world that weren't because they didn't get the right at-bats?
Yeah.
Do you know how many people, do you know how many artists right now could be John Legend, but they took the one song that was the song off the album? That's real life. I'm telling you that right now. So you, but there's a lot of ways to do it. Like, you know, now you guys have so much luxury. It can be an album, it can be a project, there's all these different names for this shit. It's all the same shit. Like, you could be a single, one-off, you can do a whole thing like called like...
Okay, let's drop a song tomorrow.
But honestly, you have to understand, I really believe that. Yeah. This is what I believe. Like if you and I, like we were brother and sister, and we were like fucking ghettoed out, like didn't know anybody, didn't have all these good people around us, I'd be like, listen to me, sis, like fucking let's just put out a song every day. And with our 87 followers on Instagram, all you need is, people don't get it.
The Russ mentality. Russ did that. Yeah.
I believe in that. Yeah. That's why I fuck with Russ. I think that's right. Yeah. I believe in it. And here's why. Wherever Russ ends up is gonna be predicated on his talent. But first you gotta get the at-bat.
You gotta get what?
The at-bat. You gotta get the chance. Yeah. People like don't get it. And also, how good are you? Like for Russ, as I keep listening, he's gonna have to evolve his sound, right? Because a lot of it sounds similar, right? I had to go through this. I don't think Russ is done. I think Russ is gonna have to evolve. I did. I can sound similar, right? For 3 months, a year, even 18 months, and then shit will change. You're gonna win if you're good enough, because winners win in the end, but you can't not give yourself the most chances to win. That's what I believe. And so like if you start a whole, like maybe, like it depends on how much music's sitting in your soul and how much you have. I thought so. Straight up, I thought so. So honestly, I think you need to do something called like Soulful Saturday and just drop a fucking 52 songs if you got it like that. I mean it. Because where you're at right now, by the 13th one, it's building momentum, and it just might be the one that you drop on September 6th. And away you go. And like there's nothing to like nothing will trump the internet.
It's interesting what you're saying, because we're all of the same mindset as well too. It's one song away and getting there, and just if this one song doesn't work, you keep going and you keep going. One question I had, because there's so many artists that we're around and we feel like, okay, they got 4 million followers, 5 million followers on social media and all this stuff, but they're not really a presence. And I heard this from Troy Carter from Spotify, where he's like, record labels and artists think that they broke. But I bet you if I put that same artist in a high school beside the kids from Stranger Things, nobody's gonna know who the fuck that artist is, and everybody's gonna go to the kids from Stranger Things. So my question is, how do we get an artist like this to become the Stranger Things kids?
By putting out more songs, more content, more stuff, more.
Same thing.
If P&B Rock walked in here right now, most people wouldn't know. I agree, man. Reality. It's just the same old thing, man. It's more. I mean, you're one song away. Logic's song could have been the, phone number song in the album, or it could have been a song they put out one off. It just works that way. Like, Lil Baby's project right now, is that an album or is that a mixtape? Doesn't even matter. Lil Baby.
From Atlanta.
Oh yeah. Sounds great.
It's just.
Just go.
Here's why. One girl in LA who thinks you're pretty and thinks you're cool retweets it. Happens to be the fucking niece of fucking Rihanna's hairdresser. They're sitting right, people don't get it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you never know.
That shit is.
You can't understand how real that is, guys. And then all of a sudden that hairdresser plays it. Rihanna's like, what is that? I don't know. Rihanna's in the mood. She's in the mood to put somebody on for no reason other than she can.
Yeah,
and she does what fucking Kylie Jenner did with PNB Rock and lip syncs. One hook and your fucking life's over overnight. Yeah. Figures times 4,000. Plus you never know what it's gonna come from. You've got the Megan and all the music stuff, and then you've got a 42-year-old businessman who's got an audience that fucking fucks with him, that fucking, it helps you too. Mm-hmm. The amount of people that tell me, my cosign has been bigger for them than, real fucking, shit, stuff they were looking for.
That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chance
right?
An
esports fucking e-gamer on Twitch fucks with you and just starts playing in the background, happens to be Ninja, game over.
Yeah. Are you big?